Hello everybody, in this lecture we will learn how to use args and kwargs arguments. Args means arguments and kwargs means keyword arguments. Args allows us to use unlimited number of arguments in our functions. We can use it when we are not sure of how many arguments might be passed into our functions. Like args, kwargs can take many arguments we would like to pass. However, kwargs are a little bit different from our args. For kwargs, we need to assign keywords. It supports dictionary arguments in functions. Let's create our examples and we will understand better args and also keywords arguments. Okay, here I will create a function definition. I will say add, and here I want to use two arguments for my function. Okay, and after that I will say return x plus y. Okay, here if I want to call my function, I will say add, for example, 4 and 5 for my arguments. As you see, Python returns me 9 because 4 plus 5 is 9. But for example, if I want to use my function like 4, 5, 6 and 7, 4 arguments, let's press shift and enter, and as you see it said add function takes 2 positional arguments but 4 were given, because here I can only pass in 2 arguments for my function. How can I solve this problem? Here to solve it we need to use args keyword. Okay, so how can I use it? Here I will say def and I will create my function again, and here star args. Okay, and after that I will say return for addition. I will use sum. Okay, or we can use of course for loop also, and I will say sum of args, and here for example I will say add and I will call my function again 1, 7, 8, 99 and 77 and minus 3, and let's press shift and enter. Name add is not defined, it's set, it's here must be add, and now again shift and enter. As you see, now I can make addition for my function, and here I didn't pass in how many arguments I will use. I said only I will use multiple arguments here, and I used args keyword. This is how we can use args. Okay, let's create another function with our add function. Here I also of course I can use, for example, range function, and for the range function if I need to use here, but I want to show you before without star symbol here. Okay, I will use my range function. For example, if I say range 100, let's check it. As you see, I got an error. If I want to use range function here, I need to use star. Okay, and after that let's press shift. As you see, returns me 4950. Okay, 4950. And if you want to use range function, you need to put your star symbol here. Okay, and let's use a list now, and how we can see how list works with args argument. And I will create list one is equal to list. Let's use again range, and I will say here 10. Okay, and here I will create a definition. Let's say yes, okay, our function name. And here for the args, of course I can use argument star and my list name or another argument. Okay, you don't need to use only args keywords here. You can use an iterable name or something else here also for the, but you need to use of course star symbol. Okay, and here I will say for item in list 1. Okay, I will say print item, and here I will come here and I will say, let's say name it func. Okay, not like that is better. If I say func, and if I don't use here star symbol, let's check it on how it is working. As you see, Python returns me only my list. Okay, it didn't work like, because I want to print out all items from my list. How can I do that? Here again I need to use star symbol. Okay, and let's check it. As you see now, our function is working if I use star symbol. Okay, and this is how we can use args argument. It is Also, of course, we will use in our other previous lecture. Our other lessons. We will use args keyword and also kwargs. Now let's learn how to use kwargs. Okay, to use kwargs, I will say here. As you remember, I said kwargs is we need to assign keywords. It supports dictionary arguments in function. So how we can use kwargs? Here I will say def and another function. Okay, I will say, and for the kwargs we need to use double stars. Okay, here, and I will say kwargs. Now I will come to here, print, I will say kwargs. Okay, and after that here, now I need to use a function, a dictionary, right? How can I will say here in for as a variable, I will say name is equal to David. Here, as you see, this is keyword and this is the value, right? As we remember from dictionaries. Okay, and the surname I will say is equal to, let's say, blue, and for the address I will say address is equal to, let's say, New York. Okay, now I will print out my values and also key and also values. Okay, but as it will, let's press shift and enter. As you see now, Python returns me a dictionary if I use kwargs argument like that. Let's also create a dictionary and use kwargs argument. How it will work, we will see it. Here I will say def func1 or func again, doesn't matter. Here I will say double star kwargs. Okay, and after that here I will say for key and also value in kwargs. Okay, I will use for loop, and here I need to say items. Okay, if I want to use a dictionary, and here I will say print but before here of course I need to create my dictionary. Anyway, now let's say print key and plus here I will say value. Okay, I want to print out key and also values, and now here I will say func, and here what I need to say double star and kwargs. Okay, and here of course I need to create my dictionary because I already said this is my dictionary name. Okay, for my dictionary name I will say kwargs, okay, is equal to name, right? And after name I will say key and value. This is the value is David, and here I will say surname, and the value for surname is, let's say, blue like before, and here let's say address, and I will say for the address New York. And now I create a dictionary, and let's see how we can use, if we have a dictionary, how we can use kwargs argument. Okay, now if I press shift and enter, as you see Python returns me key value is here name, and the value and for the value is here David. Okay, surname is key and blue is value, and address or also for New York too. Okay, and what is the next? And here something we should know, args argument must be before kwargs. Now I will use together. Okay, args and kwargs together, but args argument must be before kwargs argument if you want to use together them. Okay, def I will say here together, and here I will say args, and after that kwargs double asterisk, and after that here what I will say, for example, if I want to print out all item for args, how can I do that? I will use for loop, and I will say for I in args. Okay, and here I will say print I, and for the kwargs I will say for item I will to use only item, and like here we said key and value, only one item I can also use, okay? And this time Python will return me a tuple, okay, if I only use item. And I will say item in kwargs dot items, okay, and here I will say print item, and after that I need to call my function. I will say together, and for the arguments I will say let's use range, and I will say here 10, okay, and for the kwargs I will say star kwarg. As you remember, I already created my kwargs dictionary, so I will not create it again, okay? Now if I press shift and enter, as you see here, this time I only printed out items, and for the range args I used range until 10, right? From 0 to 10, actually 9, because 10 is not included. And here this time I didn't use like here key and also value. I only said item, or you can say only one thing I wanted to print out. And if I use like that, as you see, Python returns me a tuple pairs for me from my dictionary, okay? And what is the next? I think it's last thing about args and kwargs, and here we will use a formal argument, after the args, and after that kwargs. Here we need to say we must use formal argument before args, and after that we need to use kwargs, okay? Let's see how we can use it. Here I will say I already create my kwargs is here. Let's copy and paste it. Again I want to paste it here, okay? And here I will say def any function, okay? I will say func. Now I will use person, okay, a formal argument, and after that I will say args, and after that kwargs, okay, keyword argument, double star and key kwargs. And for the person I will say print person, okay, and after print it out I want to print something here, like, okay, like separator, okay? Here let's use a separator, this is okay. And for the args I will use again for function, because why I'm using for function for args and also kwargs, because I don't know how many items we have, okay, for our args and kwargs, so we need to use for loop to print if you want to print out our arguments, okay? And the for I in I will say args comes here, okay, and here I will say print I, okay, and for the after that I want to again use a separator, and here I will say slashes like that. And for the kwargs I will use again another for loop. This time also let's print out key and value. I will say key value, okay, in kwargs dot items. Here I will say print like before key, and after key plus, here let's use colon and value, okay? And now I will call my function. I will say func, and here I will pass my arguments. For the name person, sorry, I will say Dave, okay? And for the args I will use, for example, 1 7 8 7 and 99 and 4, okay? And for the kwargs I will say I already defined kwargs here, right? So I will say here only star kwargs, okay? Now shift and enter. As you see, the first value is Dave, it's here, right? And for the args I said print out my args items from args, see here, and my separator. And the last one is kwargs, and I also print out my dictionary items. In this lecture we learned how to use args and kwargs arguments. See you in the next.